Steel Dolphin is the headlining roller coaster at Shanghai Haichang Ocean Park. This is an Intamin multi-launch coaster weaving through a large chunk of the park. In many ways, this coaster reminds me of Cheetah Hunt at Busch Gardens, Tampa. That is both a good thing and a bad thing. I will explain why in this review. Shanghai Haichang Ocean Park opened in late 2018. This place is primarily an animal park in the mold of SeaWorld, but it opened with a handful of rides. This included 2 roller coasters, most notably Steel Dolphin. This will be an Intamin creation featuring 2 launches. It is one of the rare Blitz coasters without any inversions. For that reason, I have heard some people call this a family thrill coaster, but I think it is firmly a thrill coaster. This ride specifically reminds me of Cheetah Hunt minus the inversion. Both rides have some excellent elements, but there are some tamer bits that rely on the ride setting mixed in. Both coasters are intricately integrated into their respective parks, weaving past attractions, pathways, and landscaping. Steel Dolphin is impossible to miss upon arrival. The helix travels over the front midway. It really gets you hyped for your day if you see it cycle as you enter the park. There also is an amazing shark tunnel that swallows the train, and parts of this coaster pass over the river in the center of the park. The orange track and purple supports is a weird color scheme, but it definitely stands out, and those blue trains really pop against it. They also have a cool mechanized dolphin in the front. This coaster's entrance is adjacent to the park's Kiddieland. The sign oddly states Dolphin Coaster, even though the formal safety signs, website, and WeChat mini program all refer to this attraction as Steel Dolphin. The queue does not have anything to look at, and be prepared to wait a while for this attraction. This ride often has a 30 to 60 minute wait. There are a few reasons for this. 1. This park has very limited rides, meaning there is not much capacity whenever a show is not taking place. 2. This ride is a crowd pleaser. 3. It does not have the highest throughput. The trains seat just 16 riders, as they are comprised of 4 cars with 2 rows of 2. The park owns 2 trains, but they almost always seem to run one. That was the case during my visit, and in all the trip reports I have seen. Dispatches are passable for a coaster in China, but slow overall. The bottleneck is the grouping process. The park does not admit the next batch of riders into the station until the prior train is returned and every single rider has evacuated the platform. Since the park counts exactly 16 riders to fill the station, groups may get split up, which leads to staff members trying to rearrange guests, causing a further delay. If the park could load people in the station while the prior train was cycling, that would be a huge boost for this ride's capacity. It would probably save 2 to 3 minutes per train. The actual restraint check occurs at a respectable pace. Staff members first check your seatbelt, then they perform a second pass to lower the lap bar. With this load process, seating is on a first-come basis. Most guests seem to fill the ride front to back, so it is quite easy to get the back row. That was my preferred seat anyway by a slim margin. This seat has some extra laterals you do not get elsewhere. The front is worth trying too for the visuals and enhanced sense of speed. If you see this row available, take it. That is especially true because the skip the line passes are loaded from the exit first, and they will usually take that seat. What are the best ways to avoid a long queue? One is to visit on an off-peak weekday. This will have much shorter waits than vacation periods. 2. Save this coaster for the afternoon. Many people run to this attraction immediately after the park opens. This is when it often has its longest wait. The line was way shorter in the afternoon, especially since the school groups had started to leave. It is worth noting this coaster frequently closes a half hour earlier than the park. This coaster does open with the park, so if you arrive at park opening and rope drop it, you may have a short wait for your first ride, but again, it probably will have a queue by the time you disembark. 3. Purchase a VIP skip the line pass. These are sold directly at the ride's entrance. The price can vary by day and time. In the morning, when this ride had a 45 to 60 minute wait, these were being sold for 100 yuan or 15 US dollars. By the afternoon, when this ride had a 20 to 30 minute wait, the price was halved. If you purchase one of these, you enter via the exit. This is a lengthy walk from the ride entrance, as you have to walk through Kittyland and wrap around the station. But this can be a major time saver on busy days, and as I noted earlier, you do get first pick of seats. One other important touring note, this ride has a far more favorable weather policy than most rides in China. This coaster will actually operate in light to moderate rain. Many coasters in Asia close for the slightest precipitation, and I've also had friends ride this on extremely windy days as well. Once seated, you have the familiar Intamin trains. These are the lower ones, meaning your feet will rest on the floor. Then you are secured by an overhead lap bar. This is one of the best restraints in the industry. This is secure, but extremely comfortable, and I like how it has a little upward give, which enhances any airtime. There are those aforementioned seatbelts, but they do not impact the ride in my opinion. They just slow down the load times a bit. Once secure, a siren plays. You are then dispatched. The train navigates a tiny dip out of the station. Then, you hit launch 1. This LSM launch has a ferocious roar and a nice kick to it. I prefer the ones in the versions that take off from a dead stop, but this is still very good for a rolling launch. This leads to a top hat. This is the ride's tallest element at 108 feet, or 33 meters. It also is the wildest element on the ride. In front, you get good ejector airtime at the peak. Then, you get some laterals on the twisting drop. This element is even better in the back. You get some weak floater in the ascent. Then, you get solid ejector over the top. And the twist offers very good laterals as well. After a strong start, the next element is a dud. It is this super elongated bunny hill. It looks great off-ride as you span the water, and it offers a lovely view overlooking the front of the park, but it has zero airtime, and this is not the only element on this ride that's a miss. I really wish Intamin in the park did something different here. A stall would have been amazing. The pullout is tight at least, so it offers some positive Gs. You then bank past some trees and traverse a little speed hump. This offers weak floater. You are now by the entry midway, and you have another standout element, the off-axis camelback. This hill is sick. You are banked completely sideways at the apex, and you experience good and super sustained floater airtime. It feels like a more powerful version of the Outer Bank on Pantheon. It is a neat contrast to the Outer Banked hills and RMCs that typically offer ejector airtime. The train then rips through a wave turn with some weak laterals and continues on through a helix. This part offers okay positive Gs, but is more notable for how you're cruising above a busy midway. It is worth noting this part has a vibration to it. It is perfectly tolerable though. It just sticks out like a sore thumb because the rest of the ride is glossy smooth. Next is the ride's signature swooping drop into the shark mouth. Visually, this maneuver is a spectacle both on and off ride. In terms of forces, it has some weak laterals on the twist and light Gs on the pullout. When you emerge, you meekly rise upwards into a bunny hill. This is another hill that's unfortunately not profiled to give any airtime. This takes you directly into launch 2. The LSMs have solid punch. I do prefer the first launch though, because you have a more significant speed gain. You then glide over an S-hill. This is yet another elongated element. Everyone gets decent laterals, but if you're in the back car, you really get whipped over the crest, so you'll also get some weak floater airtime. The other rows do not get those negative Gs. You then fly over a tiny bunny hill. This offers nice ejector airtime throughout the whole train. This is the kind of power I expect from a Blitz coaster. I wish more of this ride's hills had this tenacity. You then have a small S-hill, followed by a low right turn. Each directional change is fast and fluid, offering some laterals and light Gs. You then have a brief straight section. This was once a splashdown effect with geysers, but this effect has been disabled or broken for quite some time. Then you have another rightward turn with some light Gs. You then rise upwards into the brakes. The train then decelerates and returns to the station, ending the 3,373 foot or 1,028 meter long layout. This ride has plenty of duration. I already touched on how this is a smooth coaster, but what about the pacing? Pacing is usually one of the biggest strengths of a Blitz coaster. These rides rapidly chain together one great element after another. Steel Dolphin is a bit different. Each half starts strong, but the ride then lets its foot off the gas. The elements are still fun, but they are notably less intense. It is more about speed and visuals than pure power. This sequencing is another way that Steel Dolphin reminds me of Cheetah Hunt. What would I rate Steel Dolphin? I would give this coaster a 7 out of 10. This is a good ride. The layout is super rideable. It is fun and flowy with plenty of engaging visuals. It is impressive how this coaster was integrated into the park as you work around water, trees, and pathways. And there are some great elements between the launches, Top Hat, and Outer Bank. But I do wish this layout was more consistently intense. There are a lot of hills and turns with weak to okay forces, not standout forces. I have this towards the bottom of the Blitz coaster rankings, but that's a testament to how amazing this model typically is. Many of these coasters are world-class rides. Steel Dolphin is still a very enjoyable coaster overall. Just make sure to go in with the right expectations. Expect a pure fun ride that's good, just not a world-class ride. Those are my thoughts on Steel Dolphin at Shanghai Haichang Ocean Park. What are your thoughts on this coaster? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.